Thank you. You can be seated. My name is Jeff Patterson, and I'm honored and privileged to welcome you today to my friend Cole Miller's senior oral. It's been my honor and privilege to serve alongside him with Algebra 1 for a group of 8th graders who are, they're a little rowdy sometimes, but we have a really good time. Cole does a great job with them. I am Jeff Patterson, like I said. Joining me on the panel today will be Mr. Reed and Mr. Zinkgraf. And I'm going to open this in prayer, and then I'll turn it over to Cole. So if you join me in prayer, please. Father, we just come to you right now, and we just say thank you for Cole, just for the opportunity that he has been to be a blessing in my life and in the lives of so many of us in this room, Lord. I just thank you for that. God, right now I just lift him up to you as he comes with a message that I think is super, super important for people to hear. I pray, God, that you'll just calm his nerves and calm his mind and help the words that he speaks to be clear. And, God, I just pray that you just bless him in this time and help him to have a good time and enjoy himself while he's up here. God, we love you. It's in Christ's name we pray. Amen.
All right. Have you ever heard one of these statements? Follow your dreams, believe in yourself, and never give up. As soon as you pursue a dream, your life wakes up and everything has meaning. If you follow a passion, the universe will open doors where there once were walls. You see, these quotes all have a very obvious meaning. Follow your dreams. And in this society, it's very common to hear of this from actors, athletes, or stories, all of them inspiring us to follow in their footsteps by following a dream and taking their steps by never giving up until we've reached that dream. But what these actors don't tell you is that more often than not, these dreams have more in common with fantasy than reality. You see, this dream big advice can be very inspiring and exciting. It gets the people going, you know? But often, these dreams are not true. You see, it cripples you from making wise decisions when it comes to success. So I'm not here today to tell you and discourage you from dreaming, but instead, I'm here to tell you that it's much wiser to act on current reality, opportunity, before you act upon a dream. By completely following your passion, you choose to limit your opportunities. You see, there's never a point in your life where 7-Eleven will not hire you, because there's opportunity everywhere. But despite this, people are often without jobs, thinking that if they work hard enough and have enough passion for something, that will be the reason for their success. But people make the gravest mistake, though, when following their passion, because they become so tunnel vision for this one fantasy or this one dream that they choose only to see this and they don't look at anything around it. You see, last year in American history, me and my fellow students learned about John D. Rockefeller and rich entrepreneurs who paved the way of the American dream and created this idea of the land of opportunities. The idea of the American dream has become more and more commonly believed since the growth of America. The idea that if you work hard enough, then you too can accomplish any dream you set your mind to. But in this doing, it is easy to become so focused, again, on that one fantasy that the reality of there being an opportunity right around the corner is completely just ignored. You see, keeping a firm grasp of reality is the most important aspect in following what could be a realistic dream or just a fantasy. Do not base your decisions on emotions. Passion can change, and it is emotion. It is something that can be changed by its perspective that you have, or it can be changed by let's see. It can be changed by either a perspective or circumstances. So wouldn't it be smart to let something that can remain constant be the reason for your decision system? Mr. Eben, a business management consultant who works with a Colby testing system, says life works best when you have good thinking, driving good emotions, driving good actions. Life works best when you have your good thinking driving your emotions instead of your emotions driving your actions. Because if you let your emotions drive your thinking and your actions, then you are forced to think with bad thinking, and you make poor decisions. A few years ago, me and my students read the book Romeo and Juliet, written by William Shakespeare. And in this, Romeo sees a beautiful woman sitting out on a ledge, and he says, then and there, that woman, she's going to be my wife. Whether it's infatuation or love, he decides that he was going to base his decisions on an emotion of passion. But what happens is the two families of Romeo and Juliet are in a vital feud, and they have to choose a way to get out of this. Juliet also comes up with an idea, but does not logically think to communicate this idea to Romeo. She chooses to fake her death, but doesn't tell Romeo, and Romeo deems his life worth not living. When Juliet wakes up from her sleep, she sees Romeo dead, and she also expires in a similar fashion. Because Romeo was based his decisions on emotion, he ran with an inconsistent idea that provided little to no opportunity with harrowing consequences. Passion is emotion from within yourself. An opportunity, though, is an outside gift. It is something that cannot be changed. An opportunity can change your emotion, but in the end, the opportunity remains the same, whether you take it or not. If someone else takes the opportunity, then it's still the same opportunity. Here's where a large problem occurs, though. People often think that if they're passionate for something, then that will be the reason for their success. But actually, success is often followed, and passion is often followed by meaningful work. But people think that, yes, there is a job here. Yes, there's an opportunity. But that job, well, it sounds completely boring, if you ask me. Well, it doesn't matter if it's not your dream job. Our generation thinks that a job needs to be both exciting and fun for it to have any meaning or impact on your life. But Mike Rowe, former host of Dirty Jobs, and one of the leaders trying to fill the skills gap, says differently. He said, dream jobs are often just that, dreams. But their imaginary existence just might keep you from exploring careers that offer a legitimate chance to perform meaningful work and develop a genuine passion for the job you already have. Choose any person and ask them if they love every aspect of their job. If they say yes, then they are either very, very lucky or they are simply lying. It's simple. Nothing is perfect. Even if your job has an amazing carpool group that you do karaoke with on the way to work, or Chick-fil-A Fridays, or even a gym membership with the personal trainer, there'll still be that one thing annoying about it, like your talkative coworker that works down the hall. People often think that their passion will be the reason for their success, but I remind you that success and passion are followed by meaningful work. You can never be passionate and happy about something while you're discontent. And if you're discontent because you think there is a better job out there somewhere, you fail to work hard where you are now for a chance, and I remind you, just a chance to follow your passion. 8 decades ago stood a tall, strong athlete. This athlete was a great football player, and he had signed to play football for a big university. But before taking that time for the next 4 years to play that sport, he wanted to do and learn a new phase called body surfing that was growing enormously in the state of California. This athlete watched a friend and a pro at the sport hit the waves. The first guy hit the first wave, ducked under it, then he hit the second. He turned around and came right back into the shore, making the task look so easy. The time came for the tall, strong athlete to take his turn. He hit the first wave, ducked under it, made it look easy, but then unlike his friend, he was tackled by the second wave. As he hit the second wave, he was thrown down to the ocean, and to the bottom of the reefs, he broke his collarbone, his shoulder blade, and his arm. That scholarship to play football was over. He could not get his law school degree like he had hoped, and all of his plans had gone away. This man soon became the tall, strong athlete to just another guy, and he needed to find a job. But the only place he could find one was at a props department in Los Angeles for a movie company. This man soon began to work hard and find a success and passion for the business he was in. And not only did he find passion, but he found an opportunity to audition for more than just a props department. Marion Morrison, or more commonly known for his stage name, John Wayne the Duke, found a passion and a success in somewhere he never thought. He turned what would be a tragedy into an amazing story. And if he chose to dwell on the idea of a dream job, of playing football or just being a lawyer, he might have never become one of the greater actors to ever have lived. So what is the point of passion if opportunities provide far more? Does God desire his creation to be passionate? And by far more, I mean more guaranteed. You see, passion creates incentive that opportunities alone cannot. Take two men, both with similar abilities and both candidates for the same job, for a great company. One man, though, shows little to no passion. So the company wisely chooses the man with passion, because they know in the end that they will get far more meaningful work from that worker. See, passion heightens credibility. And not only does it heighten credibility, but passion will also heighten your opportunities too. Simple economics can explain that in a government where your passion and your choice can be chosen for the opportunity thrives far more than a communist or socialist society, where the chosen opportunity is not chosen by you, but by the government. Now, obviously, we don't live in a society that is communist or socialist, but we do face this problem, sometimes with a parent or a friend who says, you should become an engineer, you need to be a doctor. But nowadays, you don't have to go to college to be rich. There's plenty of blue-collar jobs like that you can take by going to trade school and becoming a plumber. And if you work hard, you can still make $200 an hour. You see, if it is your choice and you have the ability, you'll be far more successful. You might not be an engineer and you might not be a plumber, but because it is your choice, your time, and your money, it is far more likely that you will be focused to fulfill the task in front of you. So you might be wondering, who is this 18-year-old kid standing in front of me telling me how life works? Is he supposed to be the next Mark Cuban or something? What does he know about success? Well, just like everyone, I don't know everything. But what I do know is that it's always helpful to have an opportunity and grasp. And I have followed both opportunity and passion. And in the summer, when basketball comes, it is very important for me to have opportunities to provide money for that basketball. Whether it is tournament fees, hotel costs, food, or my parents will say most of it goes to basketball shoes. You see, you might think it's a waste of money. But to me, because I have worked hard for basketball, I've reached the opportunity to hopefully play college basketball, a task I will not take for granted. But even if I don't play college basketball, I will not come away with nothing. I might still get to play Old Man Rec League, which Steve Beatty says is still a dignified sport. But because of my motivation and passion for basketball, I learned to work hard, and I created more opportunities and relationships for those I worked for because of it. So before setting everything aside, make sure the reality of your dream is there, and that the great idea from that reality can be created, and the fantasy can be avoided. Proverbs 12:11 says, "Those who take care of their fields will have abundant food, but those who chase fantasies will be fools." If a dream is worth taking, it will also be worth taking a step back to realize the possibility, the path, and the skill it will take to get there. But similarly, do not let planning be the only thing, but take action. Chase the Lion, written by Mark Batterson, is a book that one should read when trying to follow the action of their dreams. He says, when you come before the Lord, he will not say well planned or well thought, but in fact the only thing he will say is well done, good and faithful servant. So do not stop dreaming, but know the reality of your dreams so the fantasy can be avoided and the reality of a good idea can be created. And when God has placed an opportunity in front of you, take the leap and have faith that he will create a dream and a passion out of that very opportunity. Thank you. Gentlemen.
You made it.
I did it. Woo!
You made it.
Give me some high fives.
No, that was awesome. I'm glad that you also got discontent in there instead of that incontinent part that we talked
Oh,
about.
yeah.
When we were reading our paper, right? You know, can never be.
Should I explain this?
Go ahead.
All right. So for those who know me, I am a terrible speller. And so I thought discontent was incontent. So I wrote it as incontent, and then Google Docs auto-corrected it to incontinent. But it still made perfect sense because I said you can never be passionate and happy while being incontinent. So, I mean... But yeah, there was probably more in there in that paper that we could talk about, but I think we're running out of time.
All right. So let's get it started with the easy ones here. Tell us about your future plans.
I have none. Like, I'm hoping to either play college basketball or if that doesn't happen, I really don't know. I'm not setting my goal and telling everybody I'm going to play college basketball, but that's kind of what I'm leaning towards right now, if I can. If I can't, there's plenty of other opportunities out there for me.
That's exactly where I was about to take you there. So this topic that you've chosen, did you ever have any other topic that you wanted to talk about? Because, I mean, my first memory was about a year ago at this time, talking out on the baseball field about next year when I'm your senior assistant, this is what we're going to do. And it's been there the whole time. Did you ever have any other ideas?
I think I knew this was going to be the most natural for me. And obviously, like I said, my paper passion matters, or else I wouldn't have chosen this topic. But the only other thing I really thought of was like equality. But I didn't know how I should go at that, and so I kind of chose this topic over that.
That's good. I think it actually fits you very well. I mean, I really do. The topic overall, though, seems a little, maybe a little countercultural for the way the world is today. Seems to me I don't ever hear anybody on TV, like giving a commercial or anything like that, these big athlete stars saying, just follow your opportunities and everything will work out. They're always talking about dream big, chase your dreams, shoot for the stars. What would you say to a young person? Let's say that you have somebody that kind of looks up to you, maybe RT group or maybe junior high kid who comes in and you just hear him overhear him talking about, when I grow up, I want to be, and you fill in the blank, something that in your mind is just completely unrealistic and outrageous. What would you say to them? Are you going to look at them and go, no, kid, be realistic? I mean, what would you say to them?
Okay, so I guess my dad's really good at this, and so me and Cade both went up to him and said, we kind of want to be nurses. And my dad was like, well, do you know who you are? Like, y'all are quick start and zero follow through. And so if we're going to go to college for 11 years or so and become a doctor and then be able to do all that paperwork and all the stuff, it was like, that's unrealistic. And so I think the most important thing is asking them, do you know who you are? Like, do you know what you're actually capable of or what your mindset is? And so if someone like, I don't know, Josiah came up to me and like a few years ago, he said, I think I'm going to do a jumping program with y'all so I can dunk it with y'all in warm-ups. And I was like, me and my dad both looked at each other and we were like, let's settle with working on your ball handling. And so, but yeah, I think this the most important thing is asking, who do you think you are? Like, why do you want to do this? And then, do you see any problems with that? And if they have logical answers, then I think it's okay. But it's still kind of hard because in this society, people often say like, oh, he's just a hater. And so even if you do go up to someone and ask them and try to tell them not to, then they'll either be frustrated, but I think over time you gotta like do that. Cause like the nursing thing, my dad was like, that's a good idea. Then like over time, as we talked more and more about it, it kind of just slowly let us get into the idea and the reality of it.
So like you said in your paper, keeping a firm grasp of current reality is probably something that you would encourage them to do.
Yeah, and that's for everything, not just making like success, like I guess successful work decisions, but
right. In your paper, you also say that opportunities are given. Can they be earned?
Yeah, I think they definitely can be. Like, let's see, I'm trying to think how to say this. If you earn an opportunity, I guess it can be created and it can be taken away. But while the opportunity is there, it's like, it's your decision of whether you're going to take it or not. And so the opportunity is given. Are you going to actually work hard enough to keep that opportunity open? Are you going to get the job that you are applying for? but your decision and your like emotions, I guess, can still get in the way of that. And if someone gives you an opportunity because you've worked hard and then you fail to work hard, that opportunity can be taken away. But I still don't think it's like emotion is kind of from within yourself, and then an opportunity is like someone's giving it to you. And so it's more a gift than, I guess, a given.
So I'm thinking back, basketball-wise, sports-wise. You work hard, and then somebody sees that, and you're discovered or you're noticed. Would that be an example of earning that opportunity, that you put forth the work to where somebody now says, hey, I'd like you to come and try out for my team, or I'd like to give you a chance to come try out? Is that an opportunity that maybe you've earned by effort?
I mean, I'm trying to think of a different way because I feel like what I just said might be really repetitive if I say it again. But since you've earned that opportunity there, then because of your hard work and your persistent character, you've been able to receive the opportunity from a coach. But it wasn't just. And you can also go up to the coach, I guess, and say, hey, I'm good. Give me the opportunity. But if he still has to give it to you.
Sure. Are there opportunities all around us? I mean, if we're willing to step back and take a look, are there really opportunities everywhere?
Yeah, I mean, even opportunities, even a fantasy is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to fail, kind of. And so when I say dreaming, that's good, but fantasy is I think Webster Dictionary defines it as imaginable goal, something that is fictional. And so for you to say, I'm going to follow this because I think the opportunity is there, you have taken the opportunity to fail, basically. And so there's good opportunities, there's bad opportunities, and some aren't even better than others. Sometimes you face 4 opportunities and you don't know, so you just got to take one.
So how do you make that decision on which one to follow?
Flip a quarter. I don't know. I guess just a lot of thinking and talking with friends and praying about it and just listening. And then just be open-minded that your passion can grow for whichever opportunity you take.
Right. So it's not necessarily that if I choose this, I made a wrong choice, that other opportunities could possibly come out of it.
Yeah. Am I allowed to say just yeah?
Sure. All right, I'm gonna pass it on, and I'll come back.
All right. So we've used the word opportunity a lot. What is opportunity? What would you say opportunity is?
I'd say it is something that you can choose to take action or take part of, and I guess fulfill the gap that is needed or even add on to something.
Okay. So do you think, because I realized I probably never had defined that in my head before when I started reading this, do you think it maybe fits more, is it more skills? Is it more something outside of us that someone, is it privilege, I guess is another word? Is it things that are kind of a little bit more outside of our circumstances, or is it within us, certain skills we have, that kind of stuff?
Your skills definitely can affect your opportunities. I saw somewhere, I think it was one of the producers on ESPN, and he actually said, the American dream is what I'm doing right now. The Zion Williamsons, the LeBron James, or Serena Williams, that's not the American dream. And so, yes, Serena Williams and LeBron James are expiring, and they have this, they followed their opportunities because, if you're LeBron James, why not be a basketball player? But this producer, he's not like LeBron James. And so he's saying because he worked hard and took the opportunities he's gotten, and he got all the way to the top. And so I think your skill definitely does have an effect on your opportunity, and that how God has made you is going to be the path he wants you to take. But you can, if you stay open-minded, I think you can do a lot more than like what you think you can.
So, we've kind of talked about opportunity largely in the framework of like a job or occupations, right? Or even sports. But does this kind of framework that you've kind of set up, so you have, follow your opportunity, not necessarily your dreams, does that framework work when it comes to like bigger social issues? So you kind of have, when I started reading your quotes of dreams, my brain immediately, because I'm ADD, even when I'm reading something, my brain's going somewhere. But my brain went to Martin Luther King. I have a dream, right? So obviously his dream was about a bigger social issue, not I hope to be a basketball player, right? So does that same do the same rules there apply to bigger social issues like racism or world hunger or something like that, where it seems maybe unreachable or something we can't maybe even solve? Does that mean we should just go, oh, I don't have the skills to do that? Or are there kind of different rules with that stuff?
There's not necessarily different rules. It's just there's different challenges with that stuff. And so for racism, like Martin Luther saying, I have a dream, I think that it was like one of the most effective things on America that Martin Luther had that dream. And it was great that he did all the work basically to try and fulfill his dream. But the opportunity was there. I don't think I actually don't know how to answer this.
That's fair. I had never thought of this until I read your paper. It made me think a lot of bigger things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely know the opportunity is there for him to do it. I don't necessarily know. I think there's a lot of outside spiritual gifts that like God provides for people like Martin Luther King to have this dream, or there's just things that they believe in that God has like gifted them to believe in that affects that.
So are they going out? So we'll just stick with Martin Luther King as an example. Is he going outside of his gifts and his position and his opportunities to push for that, to have that dream, or is he using those things in order to hopefully begin the process of accomplishing that?
I don't know if he goes outside of his opportunity. So I think when, like Rosa Parks, I think helped create that opportunity for Martin Luther King because she saw the opportunity to sit at the front of the bus instead of sitting at the back. And so when she started that and the movement started, Martin Luther King was like, there's an opportunity here to do this. We just got to make the opportunity bigger.
What role do you think risk takes into all this stuff? Is risk something we should evaluate? Is it a bad thing? Should we avoid it and go, well, I'm really good at this. I kind of like this thing and maybe could be good at that, but I'll stick to this because I'm really good at this. Where does risk come into play?
Risk is definitely a big factor, and I actually think it can strengthen you. And so obviously when you fail and you get back up, you've learned. And so to say, I'm going to risk this and I'm going to take my chance of failing, then I applaud those people. But those people necessarily don't say, okay, this is a fantasy and an unimaginable that's 100% not real. There's not even a risk, because a risk means that it can work and it can't work. And so they take that risk and the fact that it can work and they follow that. And so I think that it helps to actually take that risk, because without the risk of like Thomas Edison or the risk of Steve Jobs or people like this with these technological ideas, then we would have never had a lot of different things.
Okay, so to kind of stick in, and this is a little bit of a sore subject for me, and probably some in this room. But to stick in an arena that you know decently and with basketball. So I read a story in the Final Four, kind of build up, of Jarrett Culver. So pretty good basketball player for Tech, and just played in the national championship. Didn't play as well as I hoped, but I know.
I think you're actually taking my question I had for you.
Oh, no. But there was a cool story that came out with him and his father. And he had offers to go to a bunch of different schools to go play basketball. And obviously grew up in Lubbock. And Tech has never, I think we had, Sweet 16 appearance. We don't have the huge history that some schools have as far as basketball is concerned. And so he was faced with the choice, do I stay or do I go? Do I stay at Tech or do I go off to these schools that maybe I have a better chance to get to a championship game? And his dad said, Tech, it's never gone to a championship. I don't know. And he said, well, I'm going to be the first, is what he told his dad before he chose Tech, which is pretty cool now, looking back. But
we didn't win
fast
it.
forward you a little bit now, let's say you're in the advice seat, whether it's your kid or a good friend. How do you evaluate those types of choices where you might have a better opportunity here, but then you do have another opportunity, but there's more risk involved? How do you make those choices? What advice would you give in that situation?
When did Chris Beard become a coach? 3 years ago.
He had been a coach. Well,
I guess it's hard to tell how good Chris Beard was, but for me, if I was Culver's dad, I would have been like, go play for Tech. This guy's going to make you good. But if it's another situation, like if Cade came up to me and said, hey, Crown Quest is really good, but I think I want to become a professional mountain climber, then I'd be like, okay, those guys can be pretty famous, make a lot, and who knows, you might be good at it. But Crown Quest obviously is really good, and it provides a good opportunity for him. And so for me, it'd be hard to say walk away from Crown Quest. But I think initially I would just tell him, hey, think about it for another 6 months, and if you still want to do this, then come back to me, and I'll be more than glad to talk with you. But yeah.
So it's okay to take risks, but just be real with yourself after you take the risk, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? So don't be the guy singing an American Idol and think you're just because Mama said you're good or whatever.
Yeah, like even if American Idol, you can take the opportunity. You can be like, well, it's there, I'll go do it. But don't think like, I got this. This is totally me. And then you can't even sing in the key of G when so it's like
I won't try it.
All right, Cole. Question for you. Did Marion Morrison take an opportunity when he went body surfing? And so was he correct in taking this opportunity? Because, I mean, what if Marion Morrison was the premier body surfer instead of cowboy?
I don't think he would have been remembered. But I don't think he thought I'm going to be the next body surfer. I think he was just doing it for fun. And then when he hurt himself, then he was upset and it was tragic. But he didn't say, okay, life is over. He said, there's still more opportunities out there for me.
Okay.
And so if that answers your question.
So for him, taking opportunities to do fun is not okay. But throughout your paper, you said it's okay to take opportunities to achieve success, right? So what's the difference of the good that success can do in our life and fun can do in our life?
Fun can have pretty much just as big of an impact as success.
Okay.
And sometimes I think it's actually has more of an impact, and it drives people to do things they don't want to do. And so, like, obviously, Marion Morrison or John Wayne didn't want to break his collarbone, but he, sorry, I just got a phone call. He just wanted to have some fun, and he didn't mean to do anything with that fun. He wasn't like, okay, I'm still going to go play college football. And it's the same way how I go snowboarding a week before basketball season starts. My dad's not like, hey, be careful, be careful, be careful, be careful. He's like, go have fun. And I think a lot of people think, okay, if he's having fun, he's going to be dangerous. And so they don't let their kids go to like a swim party because of the dangers that might occur. Or they won't let them go skiing a week before, I don't know, baseball or basketball. And then they also have a right in saying that because some people say, I'm just here to have fun. And then they get caught up into stuff they don't want to get caught up into, like partying or things like that.
So as far as taking this now, like spiritually, what is God's advice to us in taking opportunities that are fun or opportunities for success, and not just, I guess, going to the swim party or going skiing, but is God a God that would encourage us to take opportunities for fun over success?
I don't think God limits you to thinking that way. I think he lets you think, I can have fun and I can have success. And even without success, you can still do meaningful work. Like a nonprofit organization is still success. Even if like you're not making money or something, people actually have like done studies that those who work in a nonprofit organization or like a charity actually are more happy and more successful, like health-wise and everything, basically, than those who work a good job that pays well.
Okay.
And
so, I mean, you're at a classical school. There's a lot of books that you read in which the people are not persuading you to make a good living financially, right? Aristotle, Socrates, or whatever you want to throw out. And so, why is it that earning a good living is more important in determining the opportunities we should take now compared to living a good life?
So, can you like rephrase?
So everybody we read doesn't tell us work a job for a paycheck, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you're kind of saying the same thing. It's okay to not make a bunch of money with a nonprofit. And so if we're lining that up, we work the job with the nonprofit for our happiness and because we think our life is better there than just making a good paycheck. But why is that a countercultural idea that the good paycheck is not enough to determine an opportunity just for that?
I think it's so culturally famous because the people that are telling us this are the ones living the good lives. And then they're also living these lives that are supposed to be so good that even if they aren't having a good time, they have to keep up the act, basically. And so culturally, there comes a point where you have to like realize, does this have any meaning behind it? Like, is your dream actually going to help God's plan? Is it all just a selfish idea, or is it like selfless? Are you accomplishing more than just what you want to do, but are you helping other people, or are you helping God's plan maybe?
And so if culturally we listen and it leads us from taking an opportunity we should, you've been at this school a long time, and so outside of basketball, what's an opportunity you were given and you listened to culture, and so you didn't take the opportunity that you should have? And looking back, what is the impact that has on either the next opportunity or who you are now as a person?
It's like an opportunity I didn't take because...
Yeah, you believed culture instead of what's good.
I have missed out on a lot because I've either worked too hard to like raise money or stuff, and so when someone is like, let's go do this, I push them away because I'm like, well, I got to go mow. And I think there is a point where you can work too much and you'll miss out on stuff. But culturally, I can't really think of something that culture has said you should do, and I did, and then kind of regretted.
Okay.
I guess.
All right. Thanks.
I'm sure I'll think of something later.
That's all right. You can come by and we'll talk again.
All right.
So in sports, we talk about each play as a new opportunity. What does that mean?
It's an opportunity to go out there and perform what you've been practicing, basically.
So if we, in sports, in basketball or baseball, we're going to fail sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the end of the world? Does that mean we just hang up our cleats or our basketball shoes and we don't ever play again?
As much as I have acted like it is not.
It was on Monday night, right?
Yeah.
So in basketball, we talked about this during the season when we were in our times together. We talked about how when we're running a play, it's very much like we're looking for opportunities, and if we're blind to other opportunities, sometimes we become frustrated because we keep running this play, and my job is to pass the ball. Like, I'm Josiah, my job is to pass to you, and the other team says, well, Cole's obviously the guy they're trying to get it to, so we're going to put three guys in front of him, but I just keep blindly passing the ball, trying to get it to you. What should I be doing in that moment?
First, you should be thinking, because there's three guys on me, which means there's two guys at least open. And so you should know that, okay, yes, this play is drawn up so I can get open, but that doesn't mean that is the only possible thing we can do. And so there's an opportunity to pass to Court, pass to Conray or Gabe, anyone really. And so that's on the court, I guess. But and so just, I guess, don't be blind to the opportunities that are there.
Okay, is there a correlation to life with that? Like, we grew up, and probably the most common question for you and all of your classmates right now is, what are you going to do next year?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to be ready for graduation? Okay, where are you going to college? What's your plan? Is there a correlation to life from that scenario we just talked about there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, one of the reasons why I don't have a plan is because I actually have a lot of options and opportunities. And so I'm a procrastinator, so part of me is going to like decide last minute what I want to do. But can you, I don't know.
I mean, let's say that you had a plan, and you get out into the world, and all of a sudden the plan isn't working. Do you just keep slugging along, going, maybe it's going to work, maybe it's going to work, maybe it's going to work? Or do you look for other opportunities, or at least entertain the idea?
I think looking for other opportunities during it is very good. I think you should stay persistent with the work that you're doing now and just kind of stay faithful, hoping that good can come out of it. But in the end, if like I said, you're not making any like impact and meaning, then you should try to find something else that you can actually, like, God has made you for. And I don't mean like if you have a job and you show up for 3 months and you're like, I haven't gotten a raise yet. Where's where's my raise? I feel like I'm just not making an impact. I don't think you should quit that soon, because a lot of things take time to grow, and that's, I think, opportunity and a passion for something that you don't expect takes a lot more time to grow than you expect. And so, yeah.
So is this only a practical idea of following our opportunities, or is there a spiritual side? Is there some sort of a connection between you and God that you kind of have to have in order for this? Mr. Reed mentioned the word risk. I mean, is there some sort of spiritual side to this that you need?
Yeah, there's definitely, like, you've got to have faith and you got to be willing to take this step out, because if there wasn't any spiritual, or there wasn't any, like, outside thought, then just, like, I think we would be all robots and we'd be like, yep, take that opportunity. And so if there's no spiritual side, then it'd be a whole, like, everybody would be communist, I think.
Last question. Do you think that this idea of it's okay to not have it all figured out because if I'm working hard and I'm following my opportunities, do you think that is something that could relieve stress for people your age, or really any age?
Yeah, definitely. My dad showed me this video of one of his friends who worked at T-Bar-M, and he said the unknown is, like, kind of fuels your sin. And if you worry about the unknown, then it just causes you to have less and less faith. And so I think to know that it's okay I don't know everything, it's okay that I haven't figured out my next 15 years into the future, then it does relieve a lot of stress.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm going to pass the mic, but before I do, on a personal note, I have really enjoyed watching you grow. Not just this year, but ever since your 7th grade year when I first met you and started watching you. You have grown so much. I have no concerns over your answer of what are your plans. I don't have one. I have no concern because I know you'll be able to figure it out. And it's been my pleasure and my privilege to work with you this year.
Thank you.
So I'm going to move it on now.
Love you, Coach.
All right, I have one last. It's a two-parter.
All right, bring it.
So, well, now I'm gonna make it harder. No, I mean, in this room, seeing faces, there's some people that have been around MCA a really long time, and one of the families that just, I mean, when MCA started, they just, like, showed up and they've been here forever, is your family, right? And so when you think of MCA, Miller's is one of those families. And so you've grown up. You're just an MCA kid.
Mm-hmm.
There's no getting away from it.
Yeah.
So in growing up as an MCA kid, you've gotten to see from the beginnings, although you were kind of little and goofy.
Still kind of am.
Yeah, still kind of. You've got to see it kind of over many, many years. Now, kind of at the end of your MCA career, do you think MCA over the years has changed? Well, I'll leave it there first. Do you think it's changed?
Yeah, it's definitely changed, and I think mainly because a lot of the student body has gotten a lot bigger. I wasn't always up at the upper school, so I didn't know a lot about that until I got here, really. But it's crazy seeing, like, the grammar school, and I think, was it like this when I was here, or was I just, like, naive to all this stuff that's going down? And not that it was, like, bad stuff going down. I made it sound like it was Area 51 or something. No. But it's definitely changed, and I think mostly it's changed in good ways. But for the good things, I think have stayed.
So is there anything, part two, is there anything that you now, as you leave MCA, what a lot of students kind of feel, and I'm sure there's several in this room that'll tell you that, is you kind of still have this, like, you feel like it's a part of you, like you want it to flourish, you want it to do well, when you get there, former MCA student, what's one thing that you hope MCA continues to do or maybe gets better at?
Well, I hope they continue to stay as hard on the students as they are. And I think a lot of people are upset that it's an 85 is passing. But you don't grow when the passing is a 70, at least academically. And you not just get smarter when it's at an 85, but I think you learn to work hard too. And because the tutors are hard on you and they're willing to help you, it teaches you a lot more. Because if it was passing in 70 and the tutors are still hard, you still wouldn't go and get help. But because you have to get help to pass, now you have to create a relationship with the tutors. You have to pay attention in class, and it makes class a whole lot more fun too. And so I hope it stays as hard as it is, basically.
All right, thank you.
We are running short of time, but I guess in the final question, I need a percentage of how long did you try to figure out an opportunity to work magic into your speech?
It actually took about, 15 seconds. Mr. Eben told me you should use a prop, and I was like, okay. And so he provided the prop, and I threw it in there. And today was the first time I practiced with the prop, too. So
do you have a deck of cards on you for future tricks? Or?
I do need to start carrying a deck of cards around me again, but no, I do not.
Okay. All right. Well, Colt, thank you for kind of some honest answers in approaching this topic. To continue the conversation, we give you an opportunity now to ask questions as well. So I don't know what you have.
First question for Mr. Reed is, do you think it is a realistic dream or a fantasy for Tech to win a national championship in the next 5 years?
Oh, man. If you would have asked me a year ago, I would have said probably fantasy, even though in my heart of hearts that is like, I just hope I live to see something like that one day. And then this happened, and I was just in shock, like, oh, this can happen. This is real life. And didn't sleep much the last week. And so, I don't know. I mean, it's one of those where it happens, and you're like, oh, man, maybe this can happen. And I think hopefully I'm not opening my pocketbook, but I hope some very affluent people can open their pockets and pay Beard and keep him, because I think
he's good.
He's a big reason.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I think it can happen. Anyone can win.
All right. That was actually the only prepared question I had. So, Mr. Patterson, let's just think here.
I'm glad you said they were going to pay Coach Beard and not the players.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
on the table.
If Caleb started a band, what genre would it be?
What genre would he pick, or what genre would I try to encourage him not to pick?
Let's
They're
just.
probably the same answer.
All right, let's hear it then.
I think he would very definitely. I think he would venture down the hip hop route and start wearing gold chains and grills. And
Where is he?
he's crawling under his chair because we're talking about him now.
I think he could be very good. Except Josh is better because of the assembly competitions, obviously. Mr. Z. All right. So I actually got this really good idea today. And I want to see if you would actually help pay, and you could get like 30% of the stakes. So, okay. Here's the idea. We'd actually have to pay Evan Lopez some.
I'm in.
All right.
If it hinges on Evan Lopez,
All right.
have my money.
So here's the business presentation here. A PDA stick. You get a toilet paper roll, and Evan told me it's like very useful because he said you look through it, You find the people who are doing the PDA, you go whack them on the head, and then you spread them apart and tell them they have to be this distance of the PDA stick. Are you in?
Considering that this investment serves 3 different purposes, I would be a sucker to not be in. So, yeah.
All right.
Evan, take my money.
Thank you. That's all I have.
All right, Cole, thank you for your time today. Let's close in prayer. And so, God, we thank you for the life of Cole. We thank you for investment as a student for all these years and the opportunities he's taken, the things he's learned, and the things he's looking forward to in the upcoming years. And just, Lord, thank you for his gifts of making people laugh, always laughing and smiling when he's around, and just bringing life to our school, whether in assembly or RT group or just even this afternoon. And so thank you for letting us be part of that time and being in this place with him. And we pray you bless his future opportunities and preparing him for those. And it's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.